Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I'm going to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is why the Toronto Raptors will be contenders this year. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out the Dreamerspro Podcast, which we have linked in the description below. And also be on the lookout for the Dreamerspro website that we have coming in the next few weeks, dreamerspro.com, which we're very, very excited to launch. So let me just get into the topic here. Now, this video comes as a request really from one of our viewers. And he was like, hey, can you guys just do a video talking about the chances that the Raptors have this season? And I said, sure, no problem. So here it is. And I'm not going to talk too long because I've been shooting a lot of content today, so I'm quite tired. So let's just get straight into the content here. So anyway, I think it's a good question to ask because in the NBA, as we all know, in the world we live in, is ridden with this recency bias that all of us seem to have. The new thing is always the best thing, and we always forgot about the great thing that was already there. But because it hasn't made any noise, we forgot about it. Now let's talk about it. Going into this NBA season, one of the biggest news storylines going into this season, at least in the Eastern Conference, is the return of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant probably has a chance to be the best player in the Eastern Conference, or at least right up there with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And it's all predicated on how he returns from his Achilles injury, because that's the elephant in the room. How is he going to return from his Achilles injury? If he's very healthy and he looks like the OKD, then a lot of people expect the Nets to be one of the top seeds in the Eastern Conference. The number 1 seed, number 2 seed, I don't know. But for me, the Milwaukee Bucks is still there. Miami is going to get better. I still have some question marks about the Philadelphia 76ers. And also you have the Toronto Raptors, right? And in all of this, the Raptors seem to get lost, forgetting that they just won a title just 2 years ago. Now, looking at the Toronto Raptors as an organization is a few things. Number one, they're no drama organization. You never really hear any kind of drama out of that organization, to be honest with you. Never. You never hear any scandals, any crazy news, or players acting up. They just seem to go about their business of just putting out a great basketball product year in and year out. Another thing that they have going in their favor is the culture of the team. The culture of the team and the players, man. They have a lot of great veterans, players that know their role. They have a very good developmental program for the team to develop young players, as you saw with Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam 2 years ago was the most improved player of the year, and he's only been in the league for 4 years now. So they can draft really well, and they have a very good player development program there. Another thing that they have in their favor, which a lot of people seem not to pay a lot of attention to, is Coach Nick Nurse, Coach of the Year Nick Nurse. People don't put enough of a premium on coaching. People think that, give you a perfect example of this. Look at the San Antonio Spurs and Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich is the architect of that team. Now, some people may say, hey, listen, he had Manu Ginobili, he had Tony Parker, he had Tim Duncan, he had Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, to win, you need great players, but you need a great coach. And he's also the coach and president of that. I mean, he's the leader of that organization. And coaching actually matters. I don't know why people seem to forget about this. Coaching actually plays a big part. And they have a very great coach that has a finger on the pulse of his entire team. He seems to understand his players very well. He understands the psychology of that team. And I've never heard one bad comment about Nick Nurse coming from his players. They also have President Masai Ujiri. Masai Ujiri is probably the best president of basketball in the NBA. Probably. He was the one that pulled the trigger to send DeMar DeRozan for the trade to the San Antonio Spurs for Kawhi Leonard. A lot of people said it was a gamble. Most people wouldn't have done it. But listen, that one move got them an NBA championship. So they have a very, 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 very smart team president there, which also is part of the formula for success for any organization. Look at the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks are probably the biggest market in the NBA, but they have horrible leadership from top to bottom, and that's why they've been a laughingstock in the NBA for probably the last 20 years, right? They have an owner in Jim Dolan who doesn't seem to know what he's doing. They just keep hiring people, firing people. They signed Phil Jackson to a $62 million contract to be the president of the team. He didn't want to be there. So the Knicks are a disaster, and it has nothing to do with money. Every organization that succeeds always comes down to the people in it. And the Toronto Raptors are a clear example of that. They also have veteran players, which is really important. Veteran professionals, they can, as they bring in new players, they can show them the ropes of the NBA and how to be a professional. They have Kyle Lowry. They have Fred VanVleet, who's a stud, who's a veteran now. Pascal Siakam, who's also a veteran. They have younger players like OG Anunoby and others. So they have a nice blend of players, right? Now, injuries could play a role. Injuries can affect any team, and it could derail any team in the NBA, and that's something always to pay attention to. But one of the things the Raptors have that a lot of teams don't have in the Eastern Conference is also experience. They've been there. They've won the title. No team in the East has won a title in the last few seasons. It's usually been teams from the West. The last team to win a title in the East was, I believe, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Other than that is, and the Toronto Raptors, which is to my point. They have championship experience, right? They're one of the only teams in the East that can say that. The Miami Heat doesn't. The Milwaukee Bucks don't. The Philadelphia Sixers don't. The Boston Celtics don't. And these are some of the top teams in the East. And some people may be overlooking experience. Now, granted, they don't have a superstar player. And that's really the only thing that's holding them back, because they have everything else. Literally, they have everything else. Now, granted, last season in the playoffs, Pascal Siakam, he underperformed. He didn't play up to his regular season production. Usually, to be successful in the playoffs with your star players, they should usually take their productivity up a notch. And Pascal Siakam actually regressed, and that hurt the team last season. But nevertheless, they still made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals in a Game 7 against the more talented Boston Celtics, and they were right there. They were literally right there, and they weren't going to quit. And I just imagine if they had just one bona fide superstar, they would be right there in the mix of things, but they don't. But I still don't think, because they don't have a superstar like maybe a Kawhi or a LeBron or a AD or a Giannis or someone like this, then we just need to overlook the team, because we really don't. Last season they didn't have that, and they were one of the top seeds in the Eastern Conference, and it should come as no surprise, because as I said before, I'm gonna say it again: coaching matters. Veteran leadership matters. Having a good organization matters. Having a good culture in the organization, all of these things matter, and experience matters. They were fresh off an NBA title, and because they had just won an NBA title, they were playing with a lot of confidence, because it's not like some teams in the East that have to manufacture their confidence to say, okay, we're going to win the title, but they've never done it. These guys have actually done it. A lot of the things that those guys are chasing, they already have. So for me, I think that's something that's always going to be working in their favor. So for me, I still think they could be a threat in the East. Now, are they a favorite in the East? Absolutely not, because talent matters as well, right? Teams that have a lot of talent tend to win. It's not a guarantee, but they tend to win. So for me, I'll give them a shot. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think the odds are? What do you think the Toronto Raptors odds are in the Eastern Conference this year? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.